Welcome back to Speculate to Accumulate, a weekly show, betting tip show with me and Aiden. First of all, apologies for last week.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good showing from us last week.
But the point I made this point on the last podcast I did with Tom. You didn't see many people winning last week, did you? You know, in the betting world of Twitter and everything,
No.
Not many people have many winning slips.
I didn't see many winning slips at all from last week.
I got done actually on the Sunday. I had a 4 for both teams to score, a match result which we didn't mention on last week's show. But I had Aberdeen both teams to score to beat Hearts, Rangers both teams to score and Rangers win against Kilmarnock. Yeah, Leeds. They won a 3-1 against Bristol City, yeah. And I had fucking Manchester City against Liverpool in Cup and it finished 1-1. Raging £3 on that would have returned 947 quid. Honestly, I were on me holidays. I'd spent it before it even come in and it didn't come in. But yeah, last week, quick recap. On the sixfold from last week, we had Swansea, who won, point to you. Yeah. Peterborough, who lost, no points for me. Fulham, who lost. Did they lose or did they draw? No, they lost, didn't they? No points for you. I had the mighty Plymouth. I said 3-1. They did it 3-0 away at Crewe. So there's a point for me. Carlisle, they won. 2-1, weren't it? Against... They won anyway. They won. Point for me. And Sunderland, who ducked, were at 1-1.
Yeah, on to Oxford.
So it was 2-1 to me. So there starts the point scoring. And then on the both teams to score, we had... Well, I say we had a mare, but we didn't really, did we?
We were 4 goals off. There were a goal in every game.
Yeah, there were a goal in every game. The two what did come in were Doncaster, Gillingham, Newport, Mansfield. That's one of my picks, one of your picks. And all the other 4 games were 0-0.
Yeah.
So I think we were unlucky, really. So we both got 1 on the both teams to score. But yeah, so straight on to this week's. Well, I'm a lot more optimistic. Premier League football is back this evening. Recording this on the Friday, the 9th, so the first game of the season, Liverpool-Norwich, this evening. And then the rest of the fixtures to Saturday and Sunday. And there's one on Monday as well, I believe. I think, maybe. I'm
not sure.
Maybe not. But yeah, so we'll go straight in for the sixfold. If you didn't watch the first episode, we do 2 sixfolds, 1 sixfold teams to win. On the other sixfold, it is both teams to score.
All Saturday 3 o'clockers.
All Saturday 3 o'clockers. So, do you want to start, my mate?
My first pick, bad omen because they lost for me last week, but I'm sticking with Fulham. They're at home to Blackburn. I'm simply sticking with them because they are going to score goals. They're at home against a team that lost 2-1 against Charlton last week at their own place. I can't see Blackburn getting anything out of that game.
No, not a bad pick. My first pick, I'm going to stick with the mighty Plymouth Argyle. They're at home. The mighty Green.
We better get used to this.
Yep, Green Army. So, Plymouth are at home to Colchester. They won 3-0 away last week, and we backed them last week against Crewe. Good start to the season. Like I said last week, I really do think they're going to win that league. I think, they're going to romp the league, and Colchester... I think they lost their first game, or they drew the first game 1 apiece. They were there or thereabouts last season, Colchester, around the playoff places. But Plymouth, with all these, obviously their first game was away from home. They're back at Home Park. The first game of the season at Home Park this weekend. The Green Army, come on. It's going to be another 3-0. Danny Mayer hat-trick.
Oh, here we go. Name dropping again.
Who's next?
My second team is Mansfield. They're at home to Morecambe. My reasoning behind this one is the fact that Mansfield have won the last 5 head-to-head games, including a 4-0 win in this fixture last season. Morecambe lost 10 times on the road last season, whilst Mansfield won 14 at home. And Mansfield missed automatic promotion by only 3 points last season and then lost in the playoff semi to Newport County, whilst Morecambe finished 18th.
Yeah, Morecambe are one of them sides. Another good pick. This one, I've got a good feeling about this one. So then my next pick is going to be Walsall against Forest Green. Walsall, obviously, last season they got relegated from League 1 down to League 2. They beat Northampton the first game of the season, 1-0 away in the opening game. Forest Green beat Oldham 1-0 at Forest Green, I believe. But I don't know. I do fancy Walsall. So we'll go Walsall for my second pick.
And my final pick is West Brom at home to Millwall. West Brom looked very dangerous last week, I thought, against Nottingham Forest, although they scored a fluke goal from the cross for their second goal, which turned out to be the winner. They're expected to challenge again for promotion. Millwall have only ever won once at West Brom in 6 attempts, and that came 18 years ago, 2001.
Dennis Wise then.
And West Brom won this meeting last season 2-0. So that's my reasoning for the West Brom at home to Millwall.
I fancy them this season with Slavan. Mr. Bilic. Really do. Another solid pick. My final pick is going to be Watford at home to Brighton. Brighton only won one away league game this year. Almost relegated last season. And Watford last season under Javi Gracia, I think they looked a really solid side. Deulofeu, I think he's a brilliant player. I rated him when he was at Barcelona. But yeah, they've just signed Sarr and Danny Welbeck as well. Opening this game as well, it was the opener for both sides. Last year it was Watford versus Brighton, where Watford won 2-0 and they won both halves 1-0. So they won 2-0. So my final pick, should I say, is Watford. So the sixfolds is as follows. It's going to be Fulham, Mansfield, West Brom, Plymouth, Walsall and Watford. On to the both teams to score.
That's paying around 50 to 1 as well.
Yeah, 50 to I got 50s.
I think I would slightly less, but it's somewhere around there.
Yeah. Good price. So if you put a fiver on that, you're looking at 255 quid back.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Both teams to score. I'll start this one. Preston versus Wigan. I think both teams will score in this game. It's a local derby. Wigan won the first game 3-2, so it was a high-scoring game. North End, they lost 1-0 in the first game, but I think they will score at Deepdale. And with it being a bit of a Lancashire derby, I'm pretty sure that both teams will score in this one. So my first pick will be Preston versus Wigan.
My first pick, I'm going for Burnley versus Southampton. Burnley only failed to score in 3 home league games last season, them 3 being Man United, Chelsea and Man City. So they're very capable of scoring plenty of goals at home. And I'm expecting Southampton to be a strong side this year with a full summer under the belts with Hassan Huttle as manager. They've managed to tie Nathan Redmond down to a new contract, which is massive for them. They've signed Che Adams, who was scoring goals for fun at Birmingham last season.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd really fancy that game for both teams to score this week.
My second pick, we're going to go for Ipswich versus Sunderland. Ipswich have just been relegated from the Championship down to League One. They're at home. They won the first league game 1-0, whereas Sunderland, they drew their first game 1-1. I just think it's got both teams' score written all over it. I think I'd rather Sunderland get the first goal in this game, and then it'll go at Ipswich.
I always prefer the away team to score first.
Yeah. So yeah, my second pick is going to be Ipswich versus Sunderland.
My second pick, I'm going for Cardiff versus Luton. They both had plenty of goals last week, sorry.
Yeah.
Cardiff, like I say, lost 3-2 at Wigan, with Luton having the 3-3 draw with Middlesbrough. So that's my reasoning.
And my final pick, we're going to have Rochdale versus Doncaster. Rochdale won the first game of the season 3-2 versus Tranmere, whereas Doncaster, they drew 1-1 against Gillingham. Rochdale can be one of them sides, like they're always finishing the bottom half of League One, but they're always staying thereabouts, and they're at home. Doncaster, they're always knocking around the top 8 places, and they can ship a couple of goals here and there as well. So yeah, my final pick is going to be Rochdale versus Doncaster.
My final pick is Rotherham versus Lincoln. Other than a 7-0 pre-season win and a midweek 2-0 loss versus Man United under-21s where Rotherham were fully rotated, Rotherham's last failed to land, and both teams to score on the 9th of March.
Bloody hell.
That's just over 2 months of the last season all landed.
Yeah,
all pre-season other than that 7-0 win.
Yeah.
Then last week landed as well, and then they got beat 2-0 by United under-21s this week.
Sounds good.
Lincoln dropped off a lot at the end of last season when the league was already won. But previous to that, they'd shown plenty that they can score goals and they can compete in League One. There are going to be no pushovers. So that's my reasoning for that pick.
So, the both teams to score sixfold. We're going to have Preston versus Wigan, Ipswich versus Sunderland, Rochdale versus Doncaster, Burnley versus Southampton, Cardiff versus Luton, and Rotherham versus Lincoln. I was getting around 30 to 1.
Yeah, just shy of 30s, I
29 and a half, I think I got.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Well, we'll call it 30s, put a fiver on it, you're going to get 150 quid back. So, happy days. Like Aiden said in the last pod, I think it is going to be the slogan. If we lose...
we lose together.
We lose together. So bet responsibly. Only bet what you can afford. And yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope we can land this week. Thanks a lot for watching. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. And if you're over on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, if you're listening in your ears, then make sure that you give it a 5-star review. Until next week, we're out of here.